evening. Welcome to the regularly scheduled public meeting of March 7, 2022 of the Township of Washington Township Council. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Township Clerk to at least 2 newspapers in January, and this meeting has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board, Electronic Message Board, WCTV, and on the Township website. Please notify the municipal clerk for any disability requirements necessary for attendance at mayor and council meetings. The fire exits are located through the double doors to your right and through the door on your left. Please silence all cell phones. Salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Here.
Councilwoman Feeney.
Here.
Councilman Sears.
Here.
Councilwoman Velez.
Here.
Council President Morgan.
Let the record reflect also in attendance Mayor Calamari, Township Administrator Tovo, Township Attorney Power, and Township Clerk Wachowski. Okay. Before we do the PSA, I'd like to bow our heads in a moment of silence as we speak for all the council and the administration for Ukraine, as support for Ukraine. Thank you. One additional item, Daisy, could you, the list for, we are collecting items to send to the Ukraine. Daisy, what are some of the items we're collecting?
Yeah, I have that.
It's not part of the PSA, but it is on our website. We're taking donations at Town Hall and the police station, correct?
At the police station, and then they'll take it over to our senior center where we have it
Okay.
collected. One second.
I meant to tell you before and I forgot.
All right, so right now, the items keep switching. We have non-perishable food, including baby formula, baby food. I read somewhere that they prefer things that don't have to be microwaved, just to make it a little easier in case they can't access electricity or stove or anything like that. New or fairly new clothing and footwear for men, women, and children. Thermal underwear, hygiene products, including women's products, diapers, etc., blankets, bedding, sleeping bags. They're also in need of disposable cutlery, plates, cups, paper towels, first aid kits such as bandages, homeostatic bandages, Tylenol, aspirin, Advil. You're able to pick up at the Army Supply Store, MREs, meals ready to eat. They're also in need of UV flashlight, candles, and we are in need of shipping boxes, these small, medium-sized ones that are available at Home Depot or Lowe's. So that's what's on the list right now.
Okay. And thank you for working with them to organize that.
Thank
Mr. Mayor, too. PSA March 7, 2022. COVID-19 vaccines are now available to everyone 5 years and older who lives, works, or studies in New Jersey. We encourage Bergen County residents to visit www.bergencovidvaccine.com to schedule an appointment. For those requiring assistance with scheduling, please call 201-967-4070. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Westwood Regional Preschool registration is now open. Please visit our website for registration information. The Green Team will be having their first park cleanup on Saturday, March 12th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Lincoln Park off of Beechwood Avenue. If anyone needs service hours or wants to help, all are welcome. VFW Post 6192 will be hosting the 50th anniversary of the ending of the Vietnam War, honoring the men and women who fought in that war, on Tuesday, March 29th at 10 a.m. at Bethany Community Center. All Vietnam veterans are welcome and will be honored with a commemorative pin. Crossing guard positions are available. Please visit our website for further information. Aircraft noise. To file a complaint, please call the Teterboro Noise Abatement Hotline at 1-800-225-1071 or 201-288-8828. To file a complaint electronically, please visit our website for the link. The Mobile Motor Vehicle Commission Unit is coming to the Township on Monday, May 9th. Residents may sign up to secure a spot at least 2 weeks before the event. Spots are limited. Please visit our website for all the information and link to the sign-up sheet. 2022 annual license renewals are due now. A $25 late fee became effective as of March 1st. Currently, over 135 residents have not registered their pet. A friendly reminder, the Township of Washington enforces an ordinance that requires immediate and proper disposal of solid pet deposited on any property, public or private, not owned or possessed by the pet owner or keeper. Please help keep our township clean. Okay. Approval of minutes. January 3rd, 2022, signed public meeting. May I have a motion? Daisy, you need to
Abstain.
abstain. Okay. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Sue, roll call?
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Abstain.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes. January 3rd, 2022, reorganization public meeting. I'll make a motion. May I have a second?
So moved.
Sue, roll call?
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes. January 6th, 2022, special public meeting. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes. January 13th, 2022, special public meeting. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Sue?
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes. Closed session minutes, September, where's my sheet? Thank you.
I would do them all. I don't think you have to be individually, so that's then vote for every one of them, aren't they?
When we do, well,
Yes.
no, we had Daisy abstain.
On,
One of them, yeah. Can I just do all of them since it's all of us? Okay. So we're gonna read
Yeah.
these in succession and then we're gonna have one vote.
What did you say?
He just said that we don't need to read each one independently. So it's just formatting. Closed session minutes, September 16th, 2019, October 7th, 2019, November 6th, 2019, November 25th, 2019, December 9th, 2019, August 9th, 2021, January 3rd. Actually, that one we need to wait on.
right, right.
So August 9th, 2021. I'll make a motion. May I have a second, please?
Second.
I don't know if you can, you can't
Oh,
second.
because.
Yeah.
Second.
Thank you. Sue, roll call.
Sorry about that. All right, Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes.
For the Sun
Okay,
Village.
okay.
Yeah.
So closed session minutes, January 3rd, 2022. I'll make a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Sue, roll call.
My mouse is not cooperating.
I know.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President Council Vice President Feeney, sorry.
Yes. No, it's okay. No worries.
Rolling along.
Mayor's appointment. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you. To the council vice president and the council, regarding an appointment to the police department or within the police department, please be advised that I am appointing for the year 2021 to 2022 the following citizen to the position listed herein, term expiring August 31st, 2022. Position is school crossing guard, and the person is Ian O'Hanlon. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody have any questions? Are there, just assuming there's positions open, that's why the PSA was out there? Moving on to report of the mayor. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm so proud to be mayor of our extraordinary town when I have such wonderful things to report about how our residents pull together when needed to help people both near and far. Upon seeing and hearing the need for donated items for the people of Ukraine, Corporal Travis Cangelosi and Councilwoman Daisy Velez got together to put the word out for donations. The outpouring of support from our residents was overwhelming. We then had amazing volunteers who took time from their usual activities on a Saturday morning to come to Town Hall to organize and pack all the items into uniform-sized boxes to be shipped to the Ukraine and other countries where the Ukrainian refugees are fleeing to. We then delivered the boxes to a facility in Whippany where they already had a full-size tractor trailer full of supplies. I'm sure Councilwoman Velez will also speak about this in her report. I was invited to and participated in the Read Across America event in Washington School this past Friday. It is always an honor and privilege to read to the students. This year, I had the opportunity to read to both first and second graders. They asked questions about the books I read them, and even better ones about the office of the mayor. I was happy to leave them with stickers of our town logo and an inspirational Dr. Seuss message, and was even happier with the drawings they made for me as a remembrance of my visit with them. Public affairs. Last month, we had our first Residents Appreciation Weekend. The community well received all three events. We had candy giveaways, a cup of joe on the go at Little Chef, and especially the movie Encanto at the Township Theater. We thank those who took part in the events. In addition to our usual events, we are looking forward to holding a sanctioned 5K run and walk sometime soon. Councilwoman Velez envisioned this event years ago, but it had to be postponed due to COVID. The route is planned and has been certified by the USATF, United States of America Track and Field. They are the national governing body for track and field, long-distance running, and race walking in the United States. Green Team. The Green Team has many things in the pipeline. To not be repetitive, I'm sure Councilman Sears will go into more detail on them in his report. Police Department. On February 2nd, members of the department represented Washington Township in New York City for the funeral of New York City police officer Wilbert Mora, who, along with his partner, Officer Rivera, were senselessly gunned down and killed in the line of duty. On February 11th, many members of the department participated in the Night to Shine event held at Bethany Community Center. This event supports handicapped young adults. The department, along with the administrator, held a conference call with the Bergen County Communications Center regarding the ongoing radio project. Members of the department also met with Cub Scout Pack 228 to discuss the concepts of what it takes to be a good citizen. Recreation. We are nearing the end of the 2021-2022 basketball season. We are pleased that the participant numbers are higher than they were for the 2019-2020 season. We have received much positive feedback on the program. Championship games will be played on this Saturday, March 12th, with a snow date of March 19th, which hopefully will not be needed. The 2022 lacrosse program will commence at the end of March. The number of participants for this year's program is also higher than the previous year. We've already received many inquiries about the summer rec program. Registration for that program is scheduled to open on or about April 1st. Fire Department. As it now gets closer to the delivery date of the new tower ladder, the department is receiving regular updates on its progress. During the month of February, they responded to multiple alarm calls, a few runaway boilers, and one serious crash on the parkway. Responding members to that call on the parkway were required to use the jaws of life and a saw to extricate one of the drivers. Both drivers were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. DPW. During the month of February, the department responded to 4 salting and plowing events. They performed a metal pickup on February 14th. The next one is scheduled for March 24th. The department reached out to the Bergen County Public Works Division regarding potholes on our county roads. In conjunction with the police department, they have painted some additional curbing near the schools. Also, no parking and children at play signs have been ordered and will be installed when they arrive, weather permitting. Swim club property. In addition to performing an environmental study and a survey of the property, we continue to put the necessary components together to file a grant application for the purchase of the property. Budget. The budget was turned over to the council at the last meeting. It was not on the meeting agenda because we were still putting the final touches on it that day, and therefore was not sure if we would have it ready. We would like the council to consider a change and review and approve the capital budget before the operating budget starting this year. This change will enable us to commence the capital projects earlier in the year. In government, as in the private sector, price increases and inflation are an unfortunate reality as well. So I would like to take an opportunity to point out and clarify a few notable items regarding some of the requested budget increases. The liability insurance through the JIF has increased $18,000. Health insurance premiums are up $34,000. This is less than a 5% increase overall, but it's still a significant amount. Police salaries have increased $54,000, which represents only a 2% increase. DPW salaries have increased $50,000. Due to the supply chain issues, we have still not received either of the 2 garbage trucks we ordered last year. This is forcing us to put $40,000 of repair work into one of the existing trucks. Further, the nature of the work on an older truck does not allow us to classify this expense as a capital expense. Our statutory contribution to the library increased by over $25,000 this year. We had to increase our fuel budgets by over 20%. And with the most recent developments in Ukraine and Russia just during the last week, we will probably have to ask the council to further increase those line items. And lastly, the pension obligation for the town employees has increased by $150,000 this year. The expenses I have outlined here account for approximately $371,000 of a total proposed budget increase from last year of $526,000, leaving a modest difference of $155,000 of a $13 million budget. With the introduction tonight of the bond ordinance for the purchase of the property at 95 Linwood Avenue, the old Charlie Brown property, the final chapter of a new DPW facility is being written. As everyone knows, the old DPW facility here at the municipal complex had to be replaced due to its age, condition, obsolescence, and the required removal of contaminated soil at the site, which occurred when the township maintained its own gasoline fueling on premises to serve municipal vehicles prior to the 1980s. The search for a best site for a new DPW facility has been an ongoing process since I took office. That search took on a new and exciting alternative of relocating the facility from the cramped quarters at the municipal complex to the former Charlie Brown property on Linwood Ave. With access to a major roadway and space to provide expanded DPW services to the township residents now and for generations to come, while at the same time providing more space at the municipal complex for parking, for our seniors for their gatherings, and all residents who visit the facility, this location is ideal for its intended use. When I saw the real estate sign posted at Charlie Brown's restaurant, I contacted the broker to find out the status and availability of the property as a possible DPW site. I was told by the broker that they were looking for a rental transaction at the time, and it was agreed that we would stay in touch with each other. At the same time, I brought this possible DPW site to the attention of the council at the time. It was agreed that the township should have the property appraised, which was done. The appraisal came in at $1.3 million, which, as it turns out, was the same contract purchase price which a Montessori school was going to pay to purchase the property and establish a school. When this information was brought to the attention of the current council, it became clear that they were in favor of moving ahead with purchasing this property for the same $1.3 million purchase price. The property owner was contacted again, and he asked for an offer, which was made. The owner was aware that selling the property to the township meant that some of the contingencies that a commercial buyer would require would not be needed. Thereafter, the contract with the Montessori school was terminated, and the owner requested a proposed contract with the township, which is in the process of being finalized. As part of that contract, the adoption of the bonding ordinance introduced tonight is a condition. Negotiations involving the township council and the administration and a third party, such as a property owner, are always handled with the idea of protecting the interests of the township by not making public things such as strategies, minimum and maximum price points for negotiations, alternatives available to the township, and so on. It would be detrimental to the taxpayers and the township's interest in achieving the best outcome for the township to advertise the township's strengths and weaknesses, its planning strategies, or the maximum amount the township would be willing to pay. On the contrary, this is exactly why the Open Public Meetings Act recognizes and permits closed sessions of the council to openly discuss these matters in a non-public setting. I am happy to say that the system has worked out very well for the township in this and prior transactions. In this case, we are purchasing the Linwood Avenue property for the same amount as our appraisal came in at, and the same amount that the Montessori school had agreed to pay. By conducting the process as we did, we have avoided condemnation, have an amicable sale with the seller of the property, and have put the relocation of our new DPW facility on the fast track for the benefit of the township residents. I have instructed the architect to put a presentation together of what the floor plan of the building and site will look like for the next meeting when the public will have input on the bond ordinance. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. A report of the council, Councilman Casio.
I have no report.
Thank you. Councilman Sears.
Yes, thank you, Council Vice President. Let me start with the Green Team first. The grant for the fleet assessment and inventory is almost completed. We will probably be meeting in a couple of weeks with the state and going through what they suggest and how we're going to bring this before the council with the ideas that they're going to suggest to how the township is going to move forward with electric vehicles or non-electric vehicles. The student that has been assigned from Montclair State, we've been meeting, and he's been working really hard on completing this inventory of the fleet that's going to help us for a bigger grant and to move our dashboard even higher. The second grant from Montclair State is the health assessment of the community. I want to thank Sue, our town clerk, and Mr. Powell for working on getting the resolution moving. We're going to be starting this health assessment for the community in about another week. I've met the student, and we'll set up a date with the mayor and Mr. Tovo to move forward on this grant.
So what does the grant provide?
It's going to do a complete assessment of the town's health and then give us suggestions, opportunities, and so we don't really stay with one company. It's going to broaden, see where we're weak, where we're strong at. So this grant is on the way. I applied for 3 other grants, and all 3 were accepted. The first grant is the Clean Waterway Grant. This was approved today. That's part of our cleaning up the brook area. That's set for April the 30th. It's going to be the waterway from Pascack Road down to the bridge. Bethany, we're going to do a bank cleanup. If anybody's been down there, it's been quite dirty. So this grant is probably about $500, but they do supply materials also to be part of this cleanup. The second grant that I put in, it's called the Community Energy Plant Grant. This grant goes between $5,000 and $25,000. What this grant supplies to the town is when we decide what type of building we're going to build or what type of electrical charging stations we're going to have. Normally, the planner would build a town. With this grant, this will be the money from the state that the planner will draw from. So instead of building a town, he would take the money from this grant to decide. Now, I hope that we used the grant very in an efficient way, like putting solar panel or solar cells on the new DPW building. We missed the opportunity for the firehouse. The state would pay 65% of the building and installation. We have an opportunity now where we can work with this planner if we choose to go to an outside planner. And this will give us an opportunity where we should be putting solar panel in down at the new DPW building. So that grant was submitted and the application was approved. I'm just waiting on the response back from the state. Okay. The third grant or process that I put in, it's called the Salem Oak. It's a natural tree from the state of New Jersey that's very rare, and they are giving out roots from this tree to be planted in communities. Only so many communities will be receiving this Salem Oak root. I put it in, it was accepted, so I'm just waiting on when we can go pick it up. And then I would ask maybe a community involvement where we will plant the tree. If anybody has ever seen a Salem Oak, magnificent tree. So that was approved. So
There's a few landscape architects and arborists in town, so I'll put them in touch with you.
absolutely.
Okay.
The green team is also looking to do a town wellness day, and that we are planning around May the 21st. I already talked to Bethany Community Center, and they have agreed to allow us to use the lot and part of the lot. This is still in the beginning. Our goal of the green team is to bring in health officials. We contacted the VA to bring the mobile health unit in. We want to reach out to the hospitals or local physicians. And we also, I mentioned to Daisy, would like to do a town 5K also that day. So I'll be talking to Daisy about that. I talked to Mike Block. He gave me the route where it was actually mapped out. So that's on our goal to get done. So that's, also with the green team, I'm sorry, there's a lot of things we have in the mix here. We're going to work with the middle school to give the kids 30 seedlings. Each child will get a seedling. He will take that seedling and grow it until it's ready to be planted in one of our parks. So we will be meeting at the school Wednesday. So we'll be meeting with the environmental teacher there, Mary, to set this program going forward. Okay.
In terms of your wellness, when we did the town day for health and wellness, I have that list of all our vendors,
Perfect.
so you could definitely use that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Let me know what you need help with.
Absolutely. Okay, now let's get into some of the nitty gritty that's going to be affecting this community. As you know, the governor signed into law, starting May 1st, grocery stores will be no longer able to give you a plastic bag or a paper bag. You will be required to bring your own bag into the center to carry out your food. Now, this is no advertisement for Fresh Grocer, but I picked this one up down at their store. Yeah, it's like a fiber material. So in the process, I met with the library group, and we sort of came together between the green team, the library, and another group to maybe pool some money to buy enough of these bags, not those type of bags, maybe type of bag, so we can hand out to the community before we get caught short-handed. Talking to the Fresh Grocer who collects our plastic bags, they will continue to collect them until their plastic bags are gone. Now, talking to Matt, we don't know if his corporation is going to continue to receive it. So when I was on the Bergen Hub, that's 20 towns, we have a monthly meeting on environmental issues. Talked to a couple of members and they mentioned Trex, T-R-E-X. Now, Trex is a company that will collect what they call is light plastics, plastic bags, wrappers. So this was like a 2-hour Zoom meeting on Trex with the state. Called Trex. I set up an account on the Washington Township. And basically, this is how it works. Trex will supply us 3 collection bins. Be one at the library, 2 at town hall. We will have to take the plastic bags and measure each group of bags. And then we will air that measurement onto the Trex website. When we reach 500 pounds, Trex will build us a park bench out of the recycled materials and donate it to the town. So also talked to Matt, and he has agreed to continue to accept our plastics when he stops. There's a drop box in the back. When that does end, and he doesn't know if corporate's going to continue to allow him, the Bergen County Hub with Trex Company has several businesses that we can drop it off. Home Depot, Walgreens, there's Ace Hardware. They all accept the Trex. So it's going to come upon the community here to collect and weigh, and then we would add our weight to the Trex website. So I already set that up. We're already in the loop. I have to add a couple of whoever the environmental person is or recycle person. I have to add him to that so he can enter this information into that database. But I'm looking ahead, when this does happen. Plastic bags are going away. I mentioned about the Mascawanan Sink Brook. Hope I said that right. And we're going to be cleaning up on April the 30th. That also leads me to a question on, it's been 6 weeks now, and I have not heard from Boswell Engineering about cleaning up that brook. So maybe, Mr. Mayor, you can reach out to him and find out where we are with that. I would appreciate it. There's two other issues. They are not on the agenda, and I don't know why they were on the agenda. I sent them 2 weeks ago to discuss. One is the outdoor lights ordinance, and the other one is registering tree companies doing this work. As you can tell, I'm too busy. I'm getting overwhelmed here. So I would like to give these 2 projects to the council president and have her work on these if she would like, or sit on them. But I am moving these out of my pile into her pile. I got no word why they were not on the agenda tonight, but I overwhelmed with too much work going on. And just one more comment about the March 29th, honoring the Vietnam veterans. We are also inviting the Republic of Korean Vietnam veterans stationed out of Fort Lee. They will be joining us like they did last year. And something new, I reached out to the Korean embassy, and they will be sending a representative to speak to those Korean Vietnam veterans that have migrated to the United States. And that will be on March the 29th, 10 until 1. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Sears. Councilwoman Velez?
Yes, thank you. So in my last report last month, I introduced the Age-Friendly New Jersey Alliance that I had been working on with Heather Henry and Gina DiVirgilio. So last week, they attended one of the meetings with the Alliance to discuss the next steps we could take as a township to make Washington Township more age-friendly. So with the help of ARP, they guided us and said we needed to create a survey, which right now, we worked on it last week. Right now, it's getting its last tweaks. And then it is encouraged to share it with 2 focus groups, right? That was recommended by ARP and the Age-Friendly New Jersey Alliance. which, as I reported last month, was part of the Rutgers School of Social Work. The purpose of this survey will be to get a better idea of the exact needs and wants of our older residents.
Daisy, your mic is off.
Did they hear me?
It's some of it, but it's okay.
Okay, thank you. I'm also in the process of meeting with the president of the Golden Seniors, where we are going to discuss, I'm going to tell them all about the great benefits that this alliance, making Township an age-friendly town, will bring to the Golden Seniors. Let's see. The alliance has been a great assistance, and they also suggested we create an advisory board. So at this time, we're actually looking for volunteers to join us as part of this advisory board. It could be anybody from a nurse to one of the council, the mayor, which the mayor's been 100% behind us on this endeavor. So right now, if you're interested in joining this advisory board, you are welcome to email me directly. That's that. And then I did want to speak more to the Ukrainian drive. So this went really fast, faster than we had planned for. 9 days ago, Corporal Travis Cangelosi from our amazing Washington Township Police Department contacted me to start a drive for the crisis happening in Ukraine. So, of course, without hesitation, I was 100% on board. He had the support of the chief. I spoke to the mayor. He was also 100% on board and in support of it. Within 2 days, just Tuesday, we were able to secure an organization, right, which was one of the challenges, making sure that we could find a reputable organization. So we connected with the Ukrainian Women's League of America. They've been around since 1925. And they put us in contact with the Ukrainian American Cultural Center of New Jersey. So by Wednesday, we had a contact of exactly where our donations would go, with the process, everything that needed to be done. They were going to send half of the supplies over on ships. The other half, like medical supplies, would be sent on planes to eastern Poland, where a lot of the refugees have been escaping to, and mostly women and children. As it turned out, the Ukrainian Center had a scheduled collection, one of the big collections, on Saturday. And when I spoke to them, I assured them, we would not make that collection deadline because we were still in the design portion of our flyer. It was only Wednesday. We were shooting to post everything on Thursday. When I tell you I underestimated our residents, Thursday night we posted. Friday by 11 a.m., I got a picture sent to me from Travis saying we have a lot of donations. So we quickly, we had a plan for the overflow, but not this much. By the time I got out of work and met up with Travis and the mayor, I called the mayor saying we have a lot more donations than we expected, which was a good problem, a very good problem. We had donations in lobbies and sheds, on the street, you name it. So now I called our contact at the Women's League. She was so happy. I said, listen, I think we can make it for our Saturday if I can find people to help us. And I really am so happy and so proud of our residents, who one of our volunteers actually said to me, when you call on the people of Township, they show up. And that's exactly what happened that day. Again, it was a problem, but it was a really good problem. So Travis and I, got on our phones. It was 8 p.m. Friday night. We had no boxes. We had no volunteers. We reached out to our go-to volunteers. And by 9 a.m. the next day, we had boxes. We had husbands and wives, moms with their daughters, dads with their sons, the mayor, members of council. We had over 15 volunteers in there. And for 3 hours, we hustled. We went from having bags of donations. And I want to say there were over 600 diapers, easily. right? Easily over 600 diapers. We sorted through clothes and food and shoes, and it was really awesome to come together so quickly. So I called our contact and said, we loaded up the senior bus, called our contact, said we're on our way. And when we arrived, the mayor, myself, and Corporal Travis Cangelosi, when we got there, it was an amazing sight to see so many people from different communities come together dropping off. And when they saw our bus full of boxes, they were like, "Where are you from? Oh my goodness, I can't believe this. Thank you so much." It was beautiful. I don't know, I don't have a better word, but it was just, you felt like you were, doing something right. So they were incredibly grateful. I am incredibly grateful. Travis is incredibly grateful to all the donations. In fact, we have a bunch of donations right now. So we're putting together a game plan. We are looking for volunteers to help us. I want to thank the volunteers that, like the mayor said, they gave up their Saturday morning. They were down in the senior center with us, going through everything. And we had from, like, how old is Emma? 5, 6?
No, she's 9.
Oh, sorry. So we had from, the youngest,
Which was 9, yeah.
9 all the way,
So we had actually up until senior in high school, and the amount of kids that showed up was impressive.
and we had college kids.
Yes, we did have
We
college
had
kids,
college
sorry, yes.
kids that just showed up last minute. So I'm really grateful to our volunteers, right? Because we can't do anything with our volunteers without our volunteers.
And
So
we
are
must
looking
have
for more.
60 coats.
We
And
had,
we had baby clothes, new clothes, hats. We had brand new giant packs of socks and
Yes.
underwear, and it was really nice.
somebody came with a box, a carload of diapers.
Yeah.
Right? So, if you ever need to pick me up, join us. Because it does make a difference. So I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the mayor, Chief Skinner that supported Travis. The mayor supported us. Council Vice President Morgan, who was also there with us, and all the volunteers, who you are. Thank you so much. And again, if you want to volunteer, we are still in need of volunteers. And that is all.
Thank you. I'm going to just keep things brief since we've had a lot of great reports this evening. Again, I was very happy to volunteer on Saturday. It was nice to have my daughter involved also to see what's going on, make her aware. And everything, I'm glad to hear about everything with the green team. And I just sent you an email. I'm volunteering for the Alliance. So that's all I have. Okay, moving on to general public comment. To participate in the general public comment portion of the meeting, each person wishing to address the council shall give his or her name and address for the record, and we ask that only one person speak at a time with a 5-minute time limit. Speakers are to direct all their questions to Council President. I'm acting tonight in Council President's stead. She had a family emergency. When the speakers finish the question, comment, statement, the council will respond. So you have 5 minutes to speak, and then the council will respond. All members of the public and the council are expected to conduct themselves in a proper manner. Any derogatory, abusive, or threatening statements will not be permitted, and the council president will immediately rule such conduct out of order and terminate any further comments. I'll make a motion to open the public comment. May I have a second, please?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry?
Would anybody like to come up and speak? Nobody? Yes.
Quick question, just, John O'Malley, 459 Beach Street, Washington Township.
Could you just state your name one more time? I'm sorry.
John O'Malley,
Thank you.
459 Beach Street, Washington Township.
Okay.
Do you need the zip or no?
Nope.
All right. Just want to actually talk on behalf of the Washington Township, over 33 softball players and stuff like that. Basically, we're going through, and I'm reading the regulations that the town wants to impose a $50 fee per player on the field use policies. Trying to actually understand if we can give a little bit more flavor, a little bit more comment with regard to the justification of this. Actually, firstly, from the fact that there's actually a minimum of $50. How'd you come up with a minimum of $50 for every program? Second part is how does that actually factor into the Green Acres Fair Use Fund for excessive use? Want to actually reiterate that there's an awful lot of players on the field, fathers that actually coach other stuff such as either lacrosse or baseball or wrestling or football, but also contribute to the other kids' programs and stuff, meaning we pay multiple fees throughout the time frame. So just trying to actually understand how we can become a little bit better ingrained within the community. We've been fighting this for some time. How do we become a little bit better ingrained in the community, yet get access to that field for a reasonable fair use fee, and not necessarily being, taking advantage of it, like $50 per person. Two notable points that I'd like to actually understand. Number one, the minimum rate that you have, which is $50, it seems arbitrary. Second thing, what I noticed is actually baseball and football is a huge use and a huge contributor to the upkeep of that field. I don't necessarily see them on there. Trying to figure out how actually football is actually excluded from the list, and so is baseball. Just some of the comments. I guess I have to speak and then you get to reply. Do I sit down now?
No, but is there anything else you'd like to add, or that's it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm actually going to turn that over to Mr. Tovo and the mayor to see if they have a response.
Right now, Recreation is reviewing the fees for all the sports, but I've seen nothing regarding Mr. O'Malley's claim of $50 per player.
Okay,
Do you want to see it here? Because I got the paperwork, and basically what I'm actually understanding is there's going to be a vote on this, or at least a second reading.
Mr. O'Malley, just talk to me, just for
Sure,
that.
sounds
So
good.
my recommendation is going to be this. I suggest, and Mr. Tovo, Mr. Mayor, let me know if you disagree, that we set up a meeting with Mr. Scuderi to discuss what's going on and put some sort of a plan in place for the future. Does that sound reasonable?
The plan is already underway. We're just waiting for a revised fee schedule from him so we can begin the conversation.
Okay, so then how about this? Why don't we get the revised fee schedule? If this would be amenable to all parties involved, get the revised fee schedule, and then if there's further concern, a meeting can be set. Would that be okay?
That's fine.
Okay, Mr. O'Malley,
So
is that?
what,
Mr.
yes and no, yes and no. Sorry. What I'm reading right
Mr.
after we're done with the
O'Malley,
public,
Mr. O'Malley,
public conversation
Mr.
is.
Mr. O'Malley, I know you're not happy right now. and-
No, I'm not happy. I'm just actually reading the very next thing after, we're done with the public comments, which is
Mr.
pretty much a
O'Malley.
second reading of it.
Mr. O'Malley, again, the revised fee schedule is on our agenda for this evening. Okay, after that has to be set first.
Okay.
Before we can do anything after that.
All right.
Okay, so what I'm asking you is, would it be okay, is after the revised fee schedule is set, if there's still additional conversation that needs to be had, I would like Mr. Tovo and the mayor, if you would please take that action item?
Well, we already met with a couple of people from men's softball.
Okay.
You weren't at the last meeting, but one of the other gentlemen got up and spoke about it. And they're under the gun to start their registrations right now. And so, let's say some of the members of the council expressed a $50 minimum for all programs across the
Okay.
board, that would be a new minimum, considering administrative costs go up, insurance costs go up, things like that, it was, but you guys are taking a vote on it later tonight, so, you can vote however you choose, but just to, bring you up to speed, because I know you
I
missed the
know, I
last
did
meeting.
see
so-
that, I missed that part,
Yeah,
that we were
no
asking
worries.
for a minimum of $50.
Mhm.
So it'd be $50 per person.
Yeah, for, children all the way up the rank too.
And there'll also be a $25 out-of-town charge.
Correct.
For Westwood.
Well, for any,
So you're looking at anybody $75.
We have no problem with actually the out-of-town charge. We understand the
I know.
the out-of-town fee because of the conversation with Westwood, and actually, I also am a participant in soccer, and I'm not here to represent that, but so be it. My bigger issue is actually, you just said after you set the fees, we can have a conversation. So your intention is to still move forward with your second reading
$50
and to put
minimum?
this stuff into order,
So-
and then basically afterwards, we can debate whether or not we
No,
like
that's
it.
not what I'm saying.
That's exactly what you said, but
It is what I said, but what I'm saying to you is that I'm not saying to debate it, okay, just to be clear, but I think if you would like to have a discussion with the rec department, that's where you would need to go, because they're the ones
is
who.
this going to be before or
Mr.
after
O'Malley,
you
Mr.
vote on
O'Malley,
this and put it into place?
Mr. O'Malley, I'm really trying to work with you.
I know, just
Okay.
answer the question. We're cool.
And please, okay?
I know.
In about 2 seconds, your time's going to be up. So I'm just giving you my best advice based upon the current situation. We are going to vote tonight. If you're still unhappy, my recommendation is to reach out to the mayor and the administrator and set a meeting.
So to be clear,
No,
once
that's
again,
the-
I'll just,
that's my recommendation. That's exactly my recommendation.
actually, that's your statement. So to be clear, what I'm asking for is an
Mr. O'Malley,
an understanding of the
I'm sorry, Mr. O'Malley,
information.
your time is
My
up.
time is up, and unfortunately, you took up most of the time by talking to him,
Mr.
so
O'Malley.
basically, I get
Mr.
it.
O'Malley, and I did ask you at the beginning, is that all you had to say?
Yeah, but you didn't answer any of my questions, though. So basically, you had a conversation with him about some of the substance, but not necessarily answering my questions. So when we go back and forth,
Good evening, Mr.
when I
O'Malley.
asked
hope
the
you have a
questions and
pleasant
stuff like that, I had about 3 minutes. You had about 2 minutes with him. Thanks, go ahead.
Stacy, I'd just like to say one other thing, because you referenced football. Football is now a private organization. They're not under the town umbrella.
Why are they not on this list?
Because they're a private organization. The only ones on the list, if I remember correctly, are ones sponsored by the town.
Yes, you are correct.
Washington Township is not sponsored by the town unless we actually.
Mr. O'Malley, you can't speak back and forth.
I was off this end. he
Mr.
started to talk to
O'Malley,
me, so-
Mr.
But I was just
O'Malley,
responding to
Mr. Mayor,
something.
actually, I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
excuse me, in a
I-
minute, I am gonna ask you to leave.
Okay, I'm done.
Would anybody else like to come up and speak? Yes, please.
Good evening, Julianne Lipnick, 184 Finnerty Place. I don't exactly know what meeting this had occurred, but Councilwoman Feeney, I believe you made a statement regarding the post office at the shopping center, that if we had any complaints, okay. My complaints have never gone away since 2019. And most recently, I mean, I am like really annoyed. I had sent out via that post office on February 4th, a payment to Valley Hospital. A month later, I get a collection letter. My check has never been received. That's just one. Mail out my Christmas cards. Can't begin to tell you how many of them came back to me torn in a plastic bag. Just the other day, my girlfriend from Hohokus, 224, she called me saying, "Gee, Julie, thank you for your Christmas card." I mean, this is just abominable.
Mhm.
I don't even know why we have this post office. It's a joke. And when I brought this up back in 2019, when we had an issue with my daughter's invitations to her wedding, the answer I got from council was, well, go to another post office. I live across the street from it, so I should get in my car and drive elsewhere. Unacceptable. I lodged a complaint with Gottenheimer's office. That went nowhere. Don't know what else to do. You made the statement back, Councilwoman Feeney, so I am now leaving this also in your hands to actually do something with it. The other was, I'd like to address an article that appeared in Community Life on January 27, 22. Local recreation improvement grants awarded. We all know that we have a lot of work to be done around town in our parks and playgrounds. And I see that this was a major grant given by the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. Washington Township is not listed as a recipient. Did we apply? If we did, why didn't we receive anything? And better yet, if we didn't apply and we have a grant writer, why not? That is, it was major money that we all know could have been well used in this town, especially with the conditions of the fields wanting to be addressed so that taxpayers are in fact not impacted. My other is shopping center. Mayor, you and I spoke about that unsightly orange block that's outside my door. If you were to look at the plans of the shopping center when it was enhanced back in the 90s, it was in fact designated as an emergency entrance / exit to the shopping center. People park there on a regular basis, and I brought up the parking on Infinity many times, and the line goes all the way down to the library. Everybody parks, they pay no attention to that driveway. That's number one. That block, and Miss Councilman Sears, I'm sure you would agree, it's an emergency exit so that if a fire truck had to come down, they would plow through that gate. Well, of course, they're going to plow through an orange block first. I'm sure you would agree that that is a safety hazard, especially if that block goes flying.
Excuse me, Mrs. Woodard,
Residents-
1 minute left.
Residents are impacted because of damage to a fire truck. So I would really and truly like that block removed. My other is a concern, and that is this. We all talk about the kids. On February 17th at 2:30 in the afternoon, my neighbor was going to work. She sent me a text, go to your front door. I go to my front door, and that walkway that was closed off, there is a huge pine tree right there. There was a man urinating in public at 2:30 in the afternoon. Now, you could say he might have been homeless or whatever. He couldn't have been, because by the nature of the pickup truck, he was far from hard on his luck, trust me. Don't know who the person was. We tried to get a copy of the license plate. We did report it to the police. I asked Mayor that the police bring it to your attention so that you would believe me that this really did in fact happen. My neighbor got a picture. I have it on my phone. It is disgusting that this is what we have come to be. He couldn't have been any more than late 40s, early 50s. God help us if a kid was walking past. This is what we're now subject to, living across the street from the shopping center. It happened way back when the shopping center was being enhanced and the workers were doing it. But now we have a library it could have gone to, any place in the shopping center, across the street to the gas station, but he chose to exhibit himself in public. If you are a resident and you are listening, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Thank you. I actually have logged, just want to let you know, I've logged several complaints with the Postmaster General in DC, emails, phone calls. I just emailed you a website that they've started for government complaints, federal government complaints. So you can fill that out. I've called the postmaster and not very receptive. Change the hours, make the hours more conducive to the residents in town. And if any other council members have any comments
Well,
about
I
that?
think it would be more receptive if the local newspapers picked this up from the council meeting and it broadcast locally. There'll be more concern of bad publicity than anything else. So, John, if you're listening, you got something to put in the paper.
Julie, when I was down at the League of Municipalities, there was 2 postal inspectors at Service, New Jersey. And they asked, do you have any complaints with your post office? And I said, of course I do. Major complaints that have been going on for years and on dead ears. So I do have their names and numbers. I have their business cards, and I have not addressed it yet. I've been a little busy, but I will give them a call. I'm also going to give you the number of the 2 postal inspectors, and if you can call, that would be great too. But I will get on it. I've been remiss in not dealing with it, but I will get on it right away, because I know there's stuff I've mailed. Well, I know I mailed it. They told me I didn't mail it, but I know I mailed it, and it never got there. I'm sure everyone on this council has at least one package or a letter that didn't get what it needed to be. We also had, at times, political mailings that never went out when they were supposed to get out on an untimely basis, which is not the way it should be, but that's the way it happens. But I will get on there. I'll send you their names And you can call them and I'll call them as well.
Maybe you could
Okay.
share that with, you can, I'm so, no,
I will take care of it.
I'm sorry.
Like
I will-
my neighbor, and we're only
I will-
two houses on the
Julie, I will take care of it.
Maybe you could
Okay,
share
thank
the
you.
information with the council for that contact information. Maybe the more phone calls and the more emails that we have.
Take pictures and send it to me and I'll.
I'm sorry?
Mr. O'Malley, that'd be awesome if you yelled at her like you yelled at me. Sounds good. Just saying.
Maybe you'd like to say to the end, we could have a productive conversation.
Can't wait. Oh, crap, sure.
Absolutely.
Going back to the post office, could we generate a letter from the council to the post
Absolutely.
on behalf of the residents?
Yeah.
And, say we've received multiple complaints. We could do that as a unified.
Yeah, and I think, again, calling DC, I've called multiple times to DC.
I stopped mailing from there,
Me too.
so.
I'm sorry to say, I agree with you. It's not good to have to leave town to mail something, but unfortunately I have.
So I can work on a letter
Okay.
and I'll share it with the council.
Yeah, and if Mr. Cassio could share the information we could add that and send it to them also, since they were at the league.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, anything, Mrs. Lipnick?
No, the post office issue's been spoken about, it's like every other monopoly, unfortunately. I did not hear about the unfortunate incident. I apologize that, that you had to witness it right outside your house. No call for that. The orange barricade, I'm hoping by the spring, we did get an estimate to put a fence up, nicer looking fence, I should say. So we're hoping in the spring that the fence company will, schedule us to install that.
Thank you. Anybody else? Would anybody else like to come up and speak? Yes, please.
Maria Vidin Fay at 107 Cosman. I just wanted to, I don't know if you guys need this or not, but I just wanted to address the brook that runs behind us because we're at the cul-de-sac on Cosman. We get, and it's just because we've been here since 2017 when we bought the house when we came back from overseas. The water that comes into our backyard is just, even a normal rain, and we spoke to the mayor and we sent pictures out, it just, when it comes into the backyard, it flows right into our back door. And then it comes into my boys' play area, which 2018, because we came here in 2017, spring of 2018, were some of the pictures that I shared with the mayor, was our surprise. We didn't realize that water, we knew it was a floodplain. We were knowledgeable on that. My sister-in-law is an landscape architect. We discussed what it is, what FEMA is, and everything else. We paid flood insurance, but we weren't expecting just a normal rainstorm for water to come down into our backyard the way it has. And then we had the issue with the DEP or the DPW when we were discussing this with Mrs. Feeney and the mayor back when they were going to do it over by Sherry Field, which, we had a problem with that because our property would have been flooded definitely with anything that happens. 2 weeks prior to Ida, we got water, then we never thought it was going to come in. Ida came around, I understand it is a natural disaster, it is what it is. 4 feet of water was in our backyard, and it did come into our basement. We pumped all night long, whatever we needed to do to try to get that water out. We have flood insurance, everything was taken care of, but our concern is that it shouldn't, I don't know what we can do to mitigate some of that water that is coming into our backyard. I know that it flows down from Sherry Field. There is a storm drain that's out there that, we've walked out there with my husband and I, and it's just bubbling out. Our sewer in the front, and I've called the DPW when it's bubbling out because there's the drain goes into the brook, which if the brook is overflowing, it's gonna back up into our streets. So my concern is that I know the brook needs to be cleaned and hasn't been cleaned.
What was your address again?
107 Cosman.
Cosmo.
It's not, sorry.
So it is affecting us. It is affecting people across the street. It's affecting, I guess, Bergen Avenue on the other side also. So, it needs to be, I guess it needs to be cleaned because we've talked to people that have lived there forever prior to FEMA being even created at that point. So, we were just wondering what can you guys do? What can you do as our town? I know it can encompass Hillsdale, it encompass Westwood, because that brook flows into the Pasco Brook, which then eventually leads into the reservoir. I don't know what else that we would have to do. We were just trying to mitigate some of the water coming in, as the water will come in because we have rainstorms, it comes down. But what can we do as a residents here? And, we don't want to move. We honestly, we looked at other places, but we love where we are. The cul-de-sac, we have 2 boys. We love the school that the boys are in. We're at Jesse George Elementary School. It's a great place to raise a family. I grew up in Ridgewood. I grew up in Cresskill. We came back from being.
Can you just speak close to the microphone? You're drifting away.
We came back from overseas to live here, to raise our family here, and we would like to at least be able to find out what we can do, or anybody can help us, guide us to how we can mitigate some of that water that's coming in, or give us some suggestions and ideas.
How far back is the brook from the rear of your home?
How far back? Where Sherry, where the brook runs behind Sherry Field. Right. So we're not, there's that wetland.
The wetlands for years, what you're talking about, we had no control. There was a lot of landscapers backing up into that area and just dumping the leaves in there and their grass. Now, the wetland was supposed to absorb all of that.
Yes.
But over the years, they constantly kept dumping and piling and piling. So we're not absorbing it anymore. And if you notice, there's concrete barriers that go across that.
Mm-hmm.
That's to stop the landscapers from backing up in there. But I can go take a look at it. I know we have a program to put, I think, Norwegian spruces along that area that might help to absorb. But, we can take a look at it and see what's going on.
Stacey, may I respond?
Yes, sorry.
The family invited Council President Morgan and I to come to their house for a visit. So we visited them Saturday morning before helping with the Ukraine collection. And we saw the situation firsthand. What I'm going to do is get the DPW out there, get our town engineer out there. And as I had said to you also, at my mayor's meeting this Wednesday, we have a couple of representatives from the DEP coming, and this is the prime topic to talk about that brook specifically, and it winding through all of our towns and what can be done. Since you just brought it, I won't say you just brought it to our attention, but we finally got to visit on Saturday. So it is something active that, we're going to keep on. I'm not going to guarantee that you won't have any water, but we'll certainly try and mitigate it to the extent possible that we can. Because the map you did show me, unfortunately, part of that property does run through a floodplain.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that we can ever fully mitigate, but we'll do whatever we can to help you out. I sympathize greatly with the situation you're in. No one should have to worry about that much water coming onto their property and in their house.
Thank you.
Sure.
So, real quick, I just think what you wanted
You
to
don't
know.
know who he is.
Not-
He shouldn't
Okay,
speak.
just if you wouldn't mind just coming up to the podium and stating your name. I'm sorry, if we have to follow the format.
Patrick Fay, 107 Cosmo Street.
Thank you.
What needs to be done with the streams, it needs to be dredged. I don't think it's been cleaned or dredged for 20 plus years,
Go a little higher, 50.
50 years.
It's never been dredged.
Well, I think it's time for that. We're not the only people that are getting flooded. We have a young couple that lives on one of the other streets, just bought their house 2 years ago, and they're selling their house. So that's a young couple that just moved in, would have benefited from living in this town with the schools. And I don't know whether they're moving out of town or found another house in town, but it's a shame. Maybe not enough people are saying something. Maybe it doesn't bother enough people in town. Unfortunately, I guess we're just gonna have to be the squeaky wheel now and get something done. You know, I don't want to bring up other stuff, but you know, with the parking lot and everything like that, with the leaves, and then you dump the leaves and you pick them up, it throws off the parking lot, and it even dumps more water into where we are at. So hopefully, with looking at it and talking about it, stuff can get done, and because I know people are getting fed up with it. So I'm hoping that you guys can come to an agreement and we can figure something out. I'd appreciate it. All
If
right?
you have time this weekend, I'd like to come by and take a look.
Sure,
If
no
it's
problem.
not,
I'll be home all week.
Okay.
All right? Okay, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
And I think maybe we have to, I don't know, what's your
Well,
recommendation?
we're moving it up the chain and,
You are,
yeah, I'll
okay.
report on it regularly. I just would like to say,
Maybe Boswell can reach back to me. I've been waiting 6 weeks for his last thing. Yes, he has a call.
I'd just like to comment on the leaves. We did plan on not having the leaves there this year. I mean, last year. Had we gotten our 2 new garbage trucks, that was the intent. The supply chain messed us up. You know, I'm hoping to God that, you know, we don't have to do that this year. So, you know, making progress where we can, you know, albeit, you know, little steps. But, you know, we have to start somewhere. So, you know, as I told you with our visit, you know, you have my word that I'll stay on it and, you know, report to you regularly as I meet with the different organizations.
Yeah, I'm sure as the mayor, so you're in a precarious position because you literally back on to Sherry Field where you are. So it's not. Okay. Anybody else have any comments regarding 107 Cosman? No? Okay. Anybody else? Mr. Allman?
Michael Ullman, 2 Clark Avenue in the Township of Washington.
Good evening, Mr. Allman.
Good evening. My first question is about the $30,000 change order for the firehouse aprons. What does that do to the overall budget? And secondly, I assume that that's just for concrete aprons. Has any thought been given to heat the concrete or heat the aprons to alleviate icing risk or icing, given that they're fire apparatus, a lot of water, you know, take the opportunity to, you know, introduce a
Like a radiant
heating
heating?
system.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I was talking to one of the engineers at where I work. They talked about a glycol system, put a preheater on the roof, and, you know, the ongoing operating expense is quite low if you do it that way. He was familiar with it. So that's my first question. Second question is, I know that, or I believe that, I think it's called Washington Grand, is age-restricted housing. And I was just wondering, is there any restriction on having more age-restricted housing in the township? If someone were to put together a large enough parcel and build, you know, multi-unit or even single-family, are there any restrictions on creating age-restricted housing within the township? The third thing is, do we know if we applied for a 2021 FEMA Assistance to Firefighter Grant? And the reason I ask this is my cousin, who lives in Connecticut, is a volunteer fireman, and he wrote, he's not a grant writer, he's just he sells shipping containers. He wrote a grant, and his fire department, Weston, Connecticut, a volunteer fire department, received $270,000 grant from for self-contained breathing apparatus, I guess Scott packs.
Okay.
I know last year we purchased quite a few, and I'm just wondering, did we apply for any grants? Did we take advantage of potential money that's out there? And my last question is regarding the parking at OLGC. Would you know if a variance was required? Parking for profit doesn't seem to be their sort of ministerial mission. I know they're a nonprofit. So if they're putting up parking on their lots and being compensated, is that outside what is allowed per our code? And did they secure a variance and was one required?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ullman. Mr. Chova?
Yes, ma'am. The $30,000 for the concrete apron at the ESB building was, of course, not expected, but still within the overall budgeted amount for that project. Heating of the slab was not discussed. Washington grant being age restricted, and can there be more? I would defer to Mr. Pollard and the planner on that question. FEMA assistance, so we did apply for a number of grants in 2020, including the SAFER grants, which we did get some award money for. The SCBA, we did apply for. We were not awarded any funds there.
You said, I'm sorry, Mr. Chova, the SBCA?
The self-contained breathing
Oh,
apparatus.
this, okay, sorry, okay.
And again, the OLGC question regarding whether a variance would be required, I will defer to Mr. Pollard.
Okay, I'm looking over here. So there's no limitation that I'm aware of how many age-restricted developments that can be in a town. Not aware of anything like that. More the function of the developer who's developing the property itself. But there's nothing I'm aware of anyway. As far as the OLGC situation, it was a rental by the township is renting it. It's not a commercial establishment where the property is open for commercial people to just rent the space. If that were, and they're conducting that kind of a facility, there would be an issue. Whether there's a tax ramification in terms of deriving income from any kind of activity that doesn't fit within religious activities, that's a question for the tax assessor. But as far as a variance, there's no variance that was required.
Okay, I have a question on I had a question on the apron, if you don't mind. The reason that it was the concrete apron, it was changed out. Originally, it was macadam, correct? And then there was a change recommended by
It came up during one of the meetings.
Okay.
I don't remember who, but I almost want to say it was a collaborative discussion. I don't remember who brought it up, but once it was brought up, everyone agreed that it should be concrete.
Okay, and is that the whole run of the apron? All of the
Yes,
aprons are now going to be
Correct.
concrete?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and that cost is being offset by the original estimate for the macadam, or that's in addition to the?
It's plus 30.
Okay. And the change, just out of curiosity, just because I know nothing about concrete, what was the reason for the change to concrete? Just because of the weight of the vehicles, or?
Primarily the weight of the vehicles. It should have always been concrete.
Okay, so it was just an oversight originally from planning. Okay. And then would it be possible, since we're not there yet, to talk about possibly, it's not a bad idea for some sort of heating to be explored, or?
We can bring it up at the next meeting.
Yeah,
We can do that, yes.
okay. Just because my husband's an electrician, he talks about those sorts of systems now all the time, so.
Okay.
I think it's a valid point. Councilman Sears, anything there? Councilwoman Velez?
Just a question in regards to the apron. So what makes it a need now in comparison to what is there now with asphalt? Like, why do we need concrete now? I know the newer trucks heavier than what we had originally?
I think it's fair to say the ladder truck is safer, but originally when looking at the overall cost of the project, there was a desire to keep the cost down and therefore asphalt was recommended. But as you'll see, looking at most firehouses, concrete is really the standard.
So the newer firehouses, like let's say Montvale, who has a newer firehouse, theirs is concrete.
I can't speak to theirs, but I can say that is the standard for a fire department apron.
Okay. That's all.
So
Council,
when was the building, when did it come before the council for the planning of the building? Like, was this originally in there? Like, did the architect say asphalt? Did a couple of firemen say asphalt? Did the construction boss say, like, how did we miss something like this? If we didn't know the weight then, why do we know the weight now? We should have known the weight between these.
Well, just to be clear, asphalt is permittable at the location, but concrete is the preferred standard. So it was discussed early on, determination by who, I don't recall, that asphalt would suffice.
It's a $30,000 hit.
Councilman Casio, anything there?
Yeah, anyone who knows about building materials knows that concrete always exceeds asphalt. It's common knowledge. And I'm surprised that the architect didn't realize that. So, maybe the architect we hired wasn't as good as we thought.
Anybody? Okay. Would anybody else like to come up and speak? No. Okay. Motion to close public comment portion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Ordinance adoption, second reading. Ordinance number 22-03, an ordinance requiring an additional fee for non-resident participants in recreation programs.
So moved.
No, I know, I'm just thinking. Resolution number 22-186, authorizing second reading and opening a public hearing for ordinance 22-03. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Sue. Roll call. Sorry,
I heard-
no, it's okay.
Get it.
Stay second.
That's why I look. Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeny.
Yes. Would anybody like to come up and speak regarding the fees? Mr. Ullman.
Do these changes address if these programs are self-funded? Oh, wow. You can see yourself.
Oh, but something happened.
Turn it over.
It's a frightening sight.
Put it down.
It certainly adds 10 pounds at least, I'm just going to say.
Baseball.
So the change that's being proposed with the non-resident participation, does that do anything to the equation of these programs being self-funding, or is that not being addressed by these changes? And are the programs self-funded?
I have to defer to the administration in that regard. I believe some of them were moving to self-funding. Is that correct, Mr. Tovo?
All the programs are currently self-funded.
Okay. He said all the programs are currently self-funded. You're very welcome. Does anybody else have a comment regarding that?
First close them.
Yeah, no, right. I wanted to make sure we was able to speak. Motion to close public comment portion for public hearing, for 22-186.
So moved.
2-0.
Sorry, 22-03. Motion,
So moved.
second?
Second.
Sue?
Councilman Casio.
No.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes. Okay, motion to adopt ordinance number 22-03 at second reading by title. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion before we vote? I would like to know. So the men's softball fee that was referred to previously would be 50, in addition to the fee they already pay to play under the association that they're currently with, would be another $50. Or we don't know.
No, that is correct. We offered them to fully come under the town umbrella, because I want to stop these hybrid things where you're under the town umbrella, but you're not under the town umbrella for everything. So again, because we're up against their registration deadline, they said that that's something that they would be in favor of next year. And so probably the fee would go up next year to include everything that they pay for, like referees, equipment, things like that. But for this year, the $50 is without those costs that they are going to bear.
So then, am I correct in saying that you've already met with the softball representatives and they're aware of the $50 fee?
Coordinator Scuderi and I met with them just before the last council meeting,
Okay.
and it was discussed.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to discuss? And I see the summer rec program fees have gone up also.
They had not gone up for a few years, but the minimum wage has gone up $1 a year. So you can start to multiply that times 50 counselors and like that. So I think it's probably taking a $3 jump this year for the two, because we missed out on the COVID year, but the minimum still went up. Last year, we did not increase the fees, so I think that's an additional $3 per person. Like everything else that I said in my report, we're in times where inflation is going up, everything's costing more. The programs that run within that program, everything's going up. We didn't like to have to raise it, but to offer the quality program that the residents have come to expect, it was a necessary increase.
Stacy, where is that?
What's the fees? Do you want to take a look before we vote? Here,
Because I don't.
You know what?
that's fine. I'll go get them.
You're gonna get them down below?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Nothing, I looked at the fees in the previous packet, but I didn't bring them with me for this. Anybody else like that?
This is the fees for them. I'll take it.
You don't write on that one, I got yelled at already.
And I told her she can't write on that one. This is a good one.
Thank you.
If you're gonna refer to it.
Yes. Mr. Collins.
I'll show you.
Where should these be at?
Who's in your binder?
It's in here? No, it's not. Oh, it's in my,
It's
yeah,
fine.
here, yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
a
I
bad
got
one.
it now.
Yeah, I saw this in.
Yeah, I think I have left off. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah. Those are just.
No, today's house.
It's warm in here.
Something mess with it.
Although not everyone was on the council last year, I'd like to remind you that when Desiree did her intro to cheerleading program, which is listed on here, The council at that time agreed that $50 was reasonable also. And, that program has minimal expense associated with it. And so that was kind of the lead-in for us to say that $50 was going to be the new minimum for, all costs rolled into that. As you see, it says for any program not listed above, a minimum fee of $50 for each participant. We added that way. If someone comes up with an idea for a new program, like Desiree did, she wasn't able to start it as quickly as she wanted to because we had to wait for the ordinance to be changed. Otherwise, she couldn't charge anything without it being in an ordinance.
Okay.
We're open to discuss this right now.
What happened was we've got it in front of us. We said we have a motion, now the floor is open. You can, whatever you'd like to discuss. I'm actually okay. I know the minimum wage fees have gone up. I'm okay with the summer rec program fees. I
I'll throw one other thing out. If you don't approve this tonight, it will have a detrimental effect on the summer rec program. As I said in my report, they want to start the registrations April 1st. They can't do the registrations without having the right fee structure in place. If you do anything with any of the other sports, other than men's softball, which, it's almost too late for them anyway, based on the meeting we had with them. If you don't approve this, then it has to go to another first reading, a second reading. It's going to be past their season regardless. I'm just throwing that out for information.
The only one that I have an issue with is the summer rec program. I know that the cost, everything is going up, but if there's even one family that is deterred because of the difference, what it was last year to this year, these kids need to be out and about playing. So if it deters one family, that's my only concern with it.
Yeah, as we just said, these programs are all self-funding, so it's not like we have built in any profit or anything like that. It's the cost of offering the program. The director of the summer rec program always checks with what our surrounding towns are doing. We're still extremely competitive with what we're charging for what we offer, for the length of time we offer it. It's now a 6-week program. So again, it's not like we just, came up with this number. A lot of research went into it, looking at all the costs, and that's what it is.
I agree with the mayor. Can we move the motion for a vote, please?
Yeah, I just had one thing I wanted to know. Since if men's softball comes in under the umbrella next year, it'll be more of a cohesive program within the town, I'm thinking. And I just want to say, like, basketball only went up $5. I think, or $10 actually, basketball went up. I think it paid $145 for basketball this year. Okay, so anybody have anything else? Comments? Councilor Casio?
Well, I know we lost football to outside, right?
Yeah.
So, what's their arrangement right now if they want to use our fields?
I forget which class they come in at. As you recall, there's the multiple classes for the field usage. I don't recall which class they are, but they are not a class 1, like all these sports are. Right, Bob? I think I'm remembering that correct. All in-town programs are class 1.
Yeah, there's a caveat there, but if it's the only program offered for that sport, they're given higher consideration.
Right.
That is also part of what's supposed to be redone by recreation, so it's clearer than it currently is.
Right.
I mean, my concern is I understand that the men's softball, they have had low fees for a number of years. So I'm just trying to think outside the box. If it's cheaper or less expensive for them to go outside and use the facility or stay under the umbrella of the township. Sometimes it's cheaper to have a private entity and change it than it is to be in town and vice versa. I don't know what those numbers are, which one would be better for them.
Well, if you recall, Stephen, I think I'm remembering this correct. They were under the town umbrella for a long time. They decided to go private. Now they want to come back to the town because of the things that as Bob and I just said, the benefits it gets them.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I don't, again, that's one of the caveats.
Yeah.
And I can understand they do put a lot of time in, and it
Yeah.
should be something, I can see both sides of the story.
right. Mhm.
And you said there's seasons, they're starting,
They're starting
registration is
soon.
right, so
Yeah.
there's really, and since you already spoke to them,
Yeah, and Dan and I laid it out, to them, just kind of like, hey, there's pros and cons to being town, under the umbrella of the town, not being under. It was, their decision to make. They wanted to go with this. They're not happy with the fee. I understand that, but on the other hand, we have to run the programs. And, we decided that $50, well, let me say the administration has decided that $50 is, a reasonable minimum fee to set for all the recreation programs.
and nobody has anything else, vote. Do roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes. Ordinance number 22-04, an ordinance amending the minimum size of garages within the Township of Washington. Resolution number 22-187, authorizing second reading and opening a public hearing for ordinance number 22-04. I'll make a motion. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Sue?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes. Would anybody like to come up and speak regarding the garage ordinance 22-04? Sorry, Mr. Alman, you're the only one here. Okay, motion to close, public hearing for ordinance 22-04. I'll make a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Sue?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes, motion to adopt ordinance number 22-04 at second reading by title. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Sue?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes. Ordinance number 22-05, an ordinance requiring visible house and building numbers to be affixed to all such structures in the Township of Washington. Resolution number 22-188, authorizing second reading and opening a public hearing of ordinance 22-05. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Sue?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes. That's okay, don't worry
Sorry
about that. Would anybody like to come up and speak regarding ordinance 22-05, requiring visible house and building numbers to be affixed? Motion, oh. No, I just
No,
did
we
it
just
for,
did that.
that was the
The garages.
garages.
Rogers.
It's okay. Okay, would anybody like to come up and speak regarding the house numbers? Motion to close public hearing for ordinance 22-05.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Sue?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes. Motion to adopt ordinance number 22-05 at second reading by title. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Also,
Second.
Sue, roll call?
Councilman Casio,
No.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes. Introduction, first reading, ordinance number 22-06, an ordinance revising the outside billing fees required by the Township of Washington. Motion to introduce and pass ordinance number 22-06 at first reading by title. I'll make a motion. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Sue, roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes. Resolution number 22-189, authorizing publication of ordinance number 22-06 and schedule public hearing. I'll make a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Sue?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes. Ordinance number 22-07, bond ordinance providing for the acquisition of lands in and by the Township of Washington in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, appropriating $1,350,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,285,000 bonds or notes for the township for financing such appropriation. 95 Linwood Avenue. Motion to introduce and pass ordinance number 22-07 at first reading by title. I'll make a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Sue?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Resolution number 22-190, authorizing publication of ordinance number 22-07 and scheduled public hearing. I'll make a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Sue?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes. Resolution number 22-191, authorizing temporary capital budget acquisition land 95 Linwood Avenue. I'll make a motion. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Do we need discussion? No? Sue, roll call?
Councilman Casio,
No.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes. Individual resolutions, none. Resolutions consent agenda. The following items have been determined to have the unanimous consent of council and be enacted in one motion. Should any item require independent consideration, any council member may have such item removed from the consent agenda. Does anybody want to have any of the below items removed for consent agenda?
Yeah, can you pull 193 for separate vote?
Sure. Anybody else? Resolution number 22-192, authorized payment of bills February 17, 2022 to March 2nd, 2022. Resolution number 22-194, authorized resolution of support for sustainable New Jersey local health assessment and action plan technical assistance program. Motion to approve consent agenda resolutions. I'll make a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-193, authorized resolution urging legislature and governor to enact a law banning single-use plastic and paper bags. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion?
No, don't want to discuss it. I just want to vote.
Separately?
Yeah, separate,
Okay.
that's all.
Sue, roll call. Sorry, anybody else? No? Okay, Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio,
No.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council Vice President Feeney.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what was your vote?
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't hear.
Sorry. Adjournment to conference agenda. I'll make a motion. May I have a second?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're going to take a 5-minute recess. WCTV, we're good? Current business, Mr. Tovo, project tracker, please.
We have two updates on the tracker from the fire one, starting on the capital project page, emergency service building. This says anticipated May 22 moving. As of our last meeting, we're hopeful that we will actually April of 22. And moving on to page 2 under projects. The council president asked me to put the Lake Association project on the tracker. We revised by the DP.
Mr. Tovo, your mic's
Oh,
on.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That this project for desnagging and desilting is, those two things are not eligible under this grant program.
Okay.
So as of right now, there is no funding available for desilting or detangling, and there are also none for dredging.
So what is the recommendation of Boswell on how to move forward?
Well, the recommendation is for the mayor and his fellow mayors in an upcoming meeting to apply pressure to our elected officials to free up funds for this.
Yeah, we also now have the ear of the assembly people and our senator.
Mr. Tova, one question, if you don't mind. The road program, did we, and I think I asked you, Pete, about that section of of Ridgewood between Pascack and where Ridgewood Road turns and goes south in front of Bakari. They didn't pave that for whatever reason. Did we find out why that happened, why it didn't happen?
Well, again, there was a field error on their part, thinking that the road ended. Now, because they are paving Pascack, we're asking them to complete the rest of the roadway from
Okay,
Pascack to the bend.
okay, thank you.
Correct.
If we don't hear back, we don't get any movement with the assembly or, based upon, so are we looking to put a contingency plan in place? Or not yet?
Anything we do is going to be extremely expensive.
Yep. Okay,
Just the nature of the beast, unfortunately.
that's what I thought. Anybody have any more questions about the project tracker?
My only question was, Steve, what section were you referring?
The section between the light where Pascack is and Ridgewood Boulevard North, that little section of Ridgewood Road was not paved. It's all potholed. It's in front of Bakari, where you pull in.
Oh, okay.
It's like a war zone almost. It's horrible. It's cratered out, and so.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that number is in rough shape too, but I know.
It's on the list, I know.
My mic is off.
Yeah, if everybody could, I'm just getting some text, so if everybody could make sure their green lights are on.
Sorry.
Please, thank you. And then it said on the report from Mr. Connolly about the generator, is that we're having a supply problem with the generator?
Are you on to
The
number 2?
the generator's
No,
here.
it's on the project tracker. Oh, okay, it is, okay. Because it said the status of, I didn't know if the status meant installation or the status meant shipping.
No, he's referring to the status of the existing generator.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can you just then help me with status, so it's not shipping, it's just the status of putting it in, or?
There was a question raised whether or not the generator still belonged to the township or it belonged now to the contractor.
As part of the demo of the existing building,
Okay,
I believe that question was answered, right, Bob? And it is the contractor upon demolition, it's theirs to take
it's their
away.
generator, okay.
We have no use for it anyway, it's too small.
Okay. I just didn't know what status meant, that's, sorry.
Yeah, status of the existing.
Yeah, okay, so it's their generator.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else have any?
The garbage trucks, they're both ordered. First of two is at the upfitters.
That's correct.
Do we know when that first one will make its way to us?
We're hoping within the next 90 days. But again, it's going to be a supply chain issue
Yeah.
where they can get what they need.
Yeah, that's everybody. Okay, thank you.
Okay, EMS, anybody else have any other items on the budget chapter? Okay, EMS building update.
Again, it's in your packet. Just any questions, please let me know. Same with item 3.
The addition of the pass-through window, is that gonna cost any extra? Or it was
I'm sorry, the what?
no, the kitchen, okay.
No.
That was my only question. I didn't think so, it's a hole, so.
Right.
What did you call it? It's called like a pass-through when, like you're on that side of. Yep.
It's like a 2x3, just opening from room to room.
Yep, just a, yes, it's true.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't catch
No, it's okay. Anybody have any questions about the EMS building? No? Okay. The open space letter of intent, Mr. Tovo?
Yeah, again, informational only. We have the ability to apply for open space funding, even if we've already paid for the purchase ourselves, as long as we give them a letter of intent, which has already been provided.
Okay.
And as you can see, it's for the full amount, including soft cost.
Which is nice. It's for the full 800,000.
Correct.
Hopefully they'll take favor on us and give us some of that money. Anybody have any questions regarding the letter of intent?
When do they usually provide a decision?
Probably the fall of 22.
Thank you.
November usually comes out. with all those ordinance.
Okay, ordinances and legislation, none, financials. Do we?
Yeah.
Okay, so the budget, did everybody receive the emails from Sue regarding the budget process?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so the process is going to be that we're going to do a certain set of pages per meeting, okay? I'd like to know, Sue, from today, what's the first available date that we can have a meeting?
Next Monday, because I have to advertise.
So we can't do anything this Saturday?
Nope.
So I thought there's enough time to do Saturday.
No, you get out 48 hours before your meeting is held. You have to advertise it. If I put it in tomorrow, it won't be in the newspaper until Friday.
You know, not available Saturday.
Okay, so these are the intended meeting budget dates, budget times. Now, from what I'm being told, these are the meeting dates, they're not up for negotiation. The times are up for negotiation, but other than that, they're not.
Well, it's a matter of finding out from,
No, I
Everyone-
spoke,
yeah,
I
if-
spoke,
who's
to-
available.
I spoke.
just to make
So
sure
Monday,
everything's
the
up.
14th, 6 or 6:30?
Hold on, let me pull the calendar.
6:30 for all of those for me.
Okay, so Steve votes 6:30. Councilman Sears.
6:30.
6:30.
Okay, so I'm good with 6:30. Saturday, the 19th.
What about Wednesday?
Well, no, we're looking, Steve said 6:30 every meeting. Tom said 6,
6:30.
are you saying
Also.
6:30 every meeting, Tom?
Yes.
Okay,
I mean, listen, if you want to start at 6,
Six.
I'm okay with it. I mean, I'll just come at 6:30.
no, I'm good with 6:30. I
So-
think 6:30 is fair. By the time we all get our act together and get home, right? Okay, so are we all in favor for 6:30 during the week?
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Steve?
Yep.
Okay, so we're all in favor for 6:30 on every single one of those days. This Saturday, the 19th, from 9 to 1. That's
It's this weekend.
not, no,
Weekend.
it's after St. Patrick's Day. I'm good with it.
I'll be there on the 19th.
Okay, Daisy.
I don't know yet.
Okay, so we're gonna say we don't have a quorum for the 19th. So then Monday, we're gonna do it for conference agenda on the 21st. And we'll keep the rest of the dates. Now, pursuant to the conversations,
Well, when you say keep the rest of the dates, you want us to check our dates to make sure we're available?
yeah, well, it's actually, no, it's that we're just gonna leave it, we're kind of, the conversation has, I've been informed as, we're going to leave the dates as is, that are on here. If we have a quorum, we're gonna meet. If we don't have a quorum, we're not gonna meet. Now, the recommendation is we're gonna do the first 12 pages, the first meeting. Then the second meeting is gonna be pages 13 through 35. And then the next, sorry, I have to just get my notes. Oh, thanks. And then the third meeting is gonna be 36 to 55, and the fourth meeting is gonna be 56 to 75. At the first meeting on Monday, the 14th, we're gonna vote on capital budget also.
And at these meetings, we will be able to object to funding.
We are going to be voting by page. If you have questions prior to the meeting, please submit your questions regarding the line items to the administration prior to the meeting. And then if you have specific line items you'd like to discuss during the meeting, we can bring them up, but the vote is going to be by page. This is what I'm
If we
being
have
told by
line items we
President
want
Morgan.
reduced, will that be voted on that night too?
That needs to be brought up prior in an email.
Or is that gonna be prior?
I'm only, please do not, I'm only relaying
No, I'm
What
just
the-
asking questions.
because we're going to vote by page in order to complete the budget process in a quick manner instead of, the significant complaint has been from the residents that the budget process takes too long. So in order to move it expeditiously, everybody's required to review the first 12 pages for the first meeting, including the capital budget for Monday, March 14th.
Okay. One question, when you say vote by page, is there going to be a total at the end of each page?
No, the actual page number on the page.
Will the directors be there to do answer questions on why they?
So here, like if I've got my book here, Steve, like page 1
Right,
through 12.
right.
So for instance, it would be just to level set on what it would be. Just sorry, I'm sorry. Do you mind? I'm so sorry.
No.
Of course, I love the holes are always on the page. So 1, 2. So the first 6 pages.
All right.
So we would finish then at the bottom of page 6. Or no, she's saying actual 12. Yeah, she's saying 12, so 12 pages. So we would actually finish on the bottom of page 12 and finish with finance tax collector training. So like right here, that's where we would be done.
Right, but you said at the bottom of each page, you're going to vote on each page, right?
Yeah, the whole page, not the department, the whole page.
The whole page. So is there a total at the bottom of the page? Let's say I have a problem with a line on there. So I would say no to the whole page? That's what I'm asking, because I don't understand.
Okay, so the thing is I don't have an answer for you. Like,
Okay.
you could bring it up at the first meeting, but
Okay,
what,
that's what I'm looking for.
okay, I'm sorry,
Because I don't understand, if you're going to vote on each page and there's 2 items, or 1 item I don't care for, I want to vote a no on it, right? So do I veto the whole page?
No.
So my recommendation would
that's the
be
question.
to submit your question. So the recommendation and the request from President Morgan is to submit your questions regarding any specific line item prior to the meeting to the administration and the council members.
Well, will the directors be there to, if something be denied, will they be able to explain why they entered that cost in the line item, or we just take it for granted that they put it in?
I'm going to defer to the administration.
Yeah, this is the first time seeing these dates, so I will reach out to the directors to make sure that they can make these dates. The intent is to have them at the budget meeting.
All the directors are specific,
No, the top 2 or 3,
which would be,
And to clarify, it's not just the director, it would also be the
Yeah.
department head.
Yeah.
Um,
So, but none of the other departments.
And
Okay.
will they
I'm
have
just a- I'm just-
data
I'm
to
just asking.
support their increases in the budget? I hope.
Tom, just say that again?
Will they have data to support their increases or their requests for certain items?
They will, but if you have certain ones, Tom, that you know are going to question, I appreciate you send them to us, and that way I can make sure that they have answers to them as opposed to, not being specific. Stacy, while I may, I'm out of town, so I will not be able to make the March 16th meeting or the March 21st. You already ixnayed the 19th, right? But, Bob can answer all the same, he and I are too familiar with the budget.
And the 21st, you said?
Yes.
So the meetings right now are gonna stand March 14th, March 16th, at the council meeting, March 21st, the 28th, 29th, and the 31st.
Yeah, that's what I'll advertise tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. And 6:30 start for the non-council meetings.
So we are not meeting March 19th.
No, we don't have a quorum. Okay, so
I don't know if I can make that yet. If I can.
we have to know right away so
you
Stu
have to
can
know
have.
right away.
Yeah.
Okay.
But honestly, with the, we should be able,
Can't you advertise and cancel?
Yeah, we can't advertise and cancel.
Yeah, so,
but you said you can't make the 19th either.
yes. So, I'm just saying, but if you're.
Well, if you can't
finally
make it
have
and
three
Tom
people,
says he can't make it and Daisy's not sure and she can't, I mean, that's three right
So
there.
just put it on and then we'll
put it on,
cancel.
you can also
We can do
also
that.
cancel.
Yeah.
So you're gonna put it on and if I
You don't
can,
get
great.
three, you don't get three.
Okay.
The thing is, yeah, so Tom, you said you weren't available on the 19th.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
So it'll be you, Desiree, and Daisy,
Daisy.
if Daisy's available.
To be honest, I would prefer not to advertise for the 19th. I think it should be.
Whatever you people prefer.
Okay, so just so everyone's clear, if you've said you can't make it and we advertise for the 19th, everybody's aware that they've now said they can't make it and that's what it is. So then advertise for the 19th.
And it's at
It's
6:30 every time.
Yeah, except the
Don't do
Saturday, the
one
night,
advertising before
unless you
that.
want to come at 6:30 and,
Because last year.
And Monday,
it was on
obviously.
everyone.
well, Monday will be
No,
a
it's just
conference,
once it's
yeah.
done.
So there'll be no conference agenda items
On the
on the
21st.
21st.
Correct.
Is that okay with everybody? Okay. So-
I would just like to emphasize again, I appreciate the aggressive pace, but if you have any questions, please review ahead of time. That way we're sure to have answers at those meetings, because we all want to work together to get this done, as efficiently as possible.
So again, Monday is pages 1 through 12, okay? With capital budget also.
Yeah.
So capital budget and 1 through 12. And so if you have any questions regarding pages 1 through 12, please submit them ahead of time. The same goes for 13 through 35. And
Yeah.
and then, and we're gonna keep the pace. And that's where we're gonna leave the 2 extra meetings at the end to see where we stand with open items and questions.
Are these minimum pages you want to get done? Like, let's say the first one, only 12 pages. If you get through that
No,
2 hours, are you going to stop or are you going to go into 13 and like set an end time for the meeting to say whichever comes first, either 3 hours in or this many pages?
So the first meeting is gonna be 1 through 12,
Okay.
so that everybody can prepare accordingly.
Okay.
So, and then then 13 through 35. So, and please, all questions are being requested to be submitted before the meeting on the 14th regarding the line items on those pages and capital budget. So I think for the capital budget piece, you're gonna have the fire, police, and DPW available for 14th.
I would appreciate, I'd rather not bring them in twice to discuss capital. And then, so again, if you can look at capital, ask the questions, we'll get answers. If you really need one of them in, please let me know. But we should be able to get answers to questions on capital.
I would like the fire department in because of the stop tax on the budget, because I feel like we had done that last year.
All right, then can we,
No, I can't because it wasn't my decision. So we have to stick through pages 1 through 12. So I'm
So-
just letting you know that,
So
so.
what happens if a department goes from page 12 to 15? I'm not bringing them in 3 times. I'm
That's
not
your,
bringing them for capital and page 1 to 12 and then page 13 and 15.
again, that's your decision.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm letting
Yeah.
you.
Can I make a
Madam
suggestion?
President,
No, 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 no.
are these meeting in person or remote?
We're meeting in person right now. We don't have a hybrid situation yet, so we're meeting in person. So just FYI.
Can we look at this real quick? So pages 1 through 12 is going to be March 14th plus
Yes.
capital budget.
Yes,
13 to 35 will be March 16th.
yes,
36 to 55 will be March 21st,
unless the 19th works.
unless the 19th works.
Right. Or most likely it'll be split between the 21st and the 28th.
Okay, and then 56 to 75 will be the 28th.
Yeah, or 29th. Because it depends on how long the council meeting runs too, so, because we're all picking up at
But
the
then
end.
that goes to the mayor's question. Are we gonna just, make sure we cover these pages, or are we gonna set a time limit?
No, we're covering the pages, is what I'm
Okay.
being told. The pages are the pages that were in the email sent.
So whether we're done by 7:30 or we're done midnight?
I think if we get to like really late at the council meeting, we'll push those
You
pages to
know
the
what,
next day.
I wanna be efficient and timely, so that means 1 AM, I'm okay for that.
I'm actually not.
Coffee.
I'm not okay for 1 AM.
Neither am I.
And so I think,
So,
hope we could put like a 10:30 time limit on it. Let's see what happens.
okay.
Again, please, send all questions ahead of time for pages 1 through 12 for the 14th.
And capital.
And
I'm not saying I won't
capital,
have the heads here, but just so
And
I'm sure you
capital,
get
you're
a
right.
good answer.
Okay, and capital, but yeah.
Yep.
Okay, next item, building department fee schedule, Mr. Tovo.
What you have in your package is what was requested by council of the department. It is the comparison and the historical revenues. There's no action required tonight. It's something for you to start looking at and giving me feedback so we can get to the point where we can adjust the fee schedule. So please take it home, email us with any questions, and we'll get back to you.
I did notice that we are significantly lower,
We are.
like by an average of 35% across the board than every other town, even smaller towns.
Right.
It's been a long time since.
When was did we ever figure that out?
Over 12 years ago.
It was 12 years ago. Okay. And is there, are you working, I see the fees now recommended on like a slow increase over the next, say, 4 or 5 years, or?
Well, we issue there is our recommendation for now. So I think, well, we're beyond the point we can do incremental.
Yeah,
We have to make the adjustment and make sure we reevaluate every 2 to 3 years.
okay. Anybody have any questions on the schedule that the administration submitted right now, or, I just wanted to say, like, so the public knows, like, even for like demo, accessory, structural, residential, or other, we're at $50, and where the average of the other towns is $250. So we are definitely in the minority. Okay, nobody has any questions? No miscellaneous items, no closed session, right?
If there are no
Yeah.
questions, do you want Ken to prepare an ordinance for these fees?
That's what I
or-
was trying to.
Okay, sorry.
has a 3-inch ruler, and it has a level.
I used to come to tell right at it and make
Oh, really?
Oh, but it's only this big, so you have to see one letter at a time, maybe two.
And it's got a, what is that, a stylus thing? And something else.
Because everything's on tape.
Did you,
Yes, like Rich came in today and I told him yes.
Great, okay,
Yes,
great.
yes, thank you, like I said, thank you for sending
You
me.
want that as
Yeah,
a
why not?
reminder?
Why not?
What is it?
For the,
What's-
ambulance.
Let me take a picture because I
Did
know that the change.
Did you RSVP yet? No.
What?
For the ambulance board?
The agenda?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Well, I think I did initially.
Okay.
No, I guess I guess I'll do it again. I'll call Rich.
I mean, was that for the first date or the first date or the second date?
I just keep.
Right.
It's Friday, right?
Friday night, yeah, this is Friday the 18th now.
Eventually, piling
I
it.
forget what the first date was. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, we're back online. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Good night, Mr. Ullman.
Night.